Drivers, crew chiefs, owners, and NASCAR itself all had strong reactions to last night's finish. Just look at some of these quotes. "He's a piece of crap. I guess you can right rear someone and it's okay. I don't know what we're doing anymore. Will anything come from this?" How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Last night, Austin Dillon stunned the racing world, clinching a spot in the playoffs in controversial fashion. Overtime, Joey Logano takes the lead from Austin Dillon. In the final corner, Dillon drives through the 22, spins him out, then turns left, crashes the 11. Austin Dillon crosses the line first. Richard Childress Racing, the 3 back in victory lane. Emotions were high afterwards. Mark Martin, NASCAR Hall of Famer, simply tweeted, "Good grief." Facepalm emoji. Tyler Reddick, who finished top 5, had strong words post-race, said, quote, "They suspend people for right-hooking other cars. I don't see why this wouldn't be any different." And then this morning on Sirius, had a whole night to sleep on it, Tyler Reddick doubled down. "I'm worried about what this does for the young kids watching the sport. My kid thinks this is okay because NASCAR thinks this is okay." Bubba Wallace also finished top 5 and said, quote, "I guess you can dump somebody and right rear somebody and be okay. It's funny how that works." Bubba Wallace, of course, was suspended 2 years ago for right rearing Kyle Larson at Las Vegas. Now we see a similar move get someone a season-saving victory. Joey Logano was probably the most animated driver post-race yesterday. You heard what he said on TV when talking to reporters after. He continued, quote, "I beat Dillon fair and square on the restart and he just pulls a chicken bleep move. He's a piece of crap. He sucks. He sucked his whole career and now he's going to be in the playoffs. Good for him, I guess." Ooh, the spice! Look, I think Joey Logano is 100% correct about the chicken bleep move part, at least. But I know fans aren't going to want to hear it from Joey Logano. Joey Logano isn't exactly a saint. 2 years ago, Logano punted William Byron out of the way to win a race at Darlington. He's pulled other, less egregious but still questionable moves as well. I get that a lot of fans don't want to listen to Joey Logano lecture them on racing etiquette. That's fair. But I do think his crew chief, Paul Wolfe, who went on a passionate rant last night, made some valid points. Paul Wolfe told SiriusXM, quote, "It's as far from racing as you can get, and it's really disappointing that NASCAR allows stuff like that to go on. I don't know what else to say. That wasn't a racing incident. Anyone can see that. What I'm asking NASCAR is, what have we gotten to? Is this not racing anymore? Gosh, we're still racing here. When we lose sight of that, I don't know what we're doing anymore." Denny Hamlin's crew chief, Chris Gabehart, supported Paul Wolfe's comments, saying on Twitter, quote, "I'm proud of Paul here, and anyone who knows him and how classy he is fully understands the magnitude of what we saw last night when you watch this clip. I am confident NASCAR will do the right thing." Oh boy, okay, now we're getting somewhere. What is the right thing? What should NASCAR do in this instance? NASCAR Vice President of Competition Elton Sawyer spoke with reporters late last night and left the door open to possible penalties coming later this week. Elton Sawyer said, quote, "I thought the last lap, that's something that, our sport has been a contact sport for a long time. We always hear, where's the line? And did someone cross the line? I would say the last lap was awfully close to the line. We'll take a look at all the available resources from audio and video, the spotters, we're listening to the crew chief and drivers. If anything rises to a level that we feel like we need to penalize, then we'll do that on Tuesday." Oh, okay. I feel like you need to look at the last lap as 2 separate incidents. First, Austin Dillon overdriving turn 3 and plowing into the back of Logano, wrecking him. To me, that's similar to when Ryan Newman drove in comically deep at Phoenix to run Kyle Larson into the wall for a playoff spot. To me, that's similar to Kevin Harvick intentionally spinning Kyle Busch at the end of Martinsville 2020. Or again, Logano punting William Byron at Darlington in 2022. No penalties for any of those incidents. That's why I said last night, and I'll say it again here, I don't think there's any recent precedent that would allow NASCAR to take this win away from Austin Dillon. I'm not a fan of changing the rules or establishing new precedents mid-season. I like to see those types of changes made during the offseason. Rewrite the rulebook. Start 2025 fresh. I don't like changing the way business gets done in the middle of a single season. So I don't feel there's enough precedent to take the win away from Austin Dillon. Certainly not for the move he put on Joey Logano. But then there's the second incident where Austin Dillon clips Hamlin's right rear and sends the 11 hard into the outside wall. A shocking number of fans truly believe that Denny Hamlin crashed himself. Look how far he came up. Yes, because he is exiting in the traditional racing line. Actually, Bozy Tatarovich posted the SMT today, and it shows that if you look at the green line there, Denny Hamlin is like almost a full car width below the traditional racing groove. He's leaving additional space. And Austin Dillon is taking the non-traditional corner exit pointed way to the bottom. Austin Dillon is to blame. He wrecked Denny Hamlin on purpose. He even admitted after the race in his press conference he was seeing red in that moment. Again, look at the SMT. All the guys behind Denny Hamlin are running the exact same line. So Denny Hamlin was just racing. Austin Dillon was not. So this incident, the Hamlin contact, that's ugly. And when you combine it with the spotter audio, it's even uglier. I didn't play this clip last night. It wasn't public when I recorded, but now it is. This was Austin Dillon's radio communication during this final incident. Listen close.
Down, run him down, back in, come on, yeah!
You can hear the spotter yell, "Wreck him," at one point, referring to the 11, and guess what Austin Dillon does? He wrecked him. In the media center afterwards, reporter Matt Weaver pressed Richard Childress, car owner, on this, and RC disputed that any such radio communication ever happened. Richard Childress originally said, quote, "I never heard it on our radio unless someone was making it up. Not on our number 1 channel or number 2 channel. No one said that. If you believe everything you hear on the internet, I'm not Santa Claus if it ever comes up." Then, according to Matt Weaver, he played the radio clip for Richard Childress, and Richard Childress then sort of changed his tune and defended it, saying, quote, "Well, if he did say that, Spotter did a good job because it won him the race." Yeah, so none of it is a great look, in my opinion. So the move itself, combined with the audio, and combined there with Richard Childress sort of doubling down after hearing the proof, I think there will probably be a fine, probably a points penalty. I don't think there will be a suspension, and here's why. I know that Chase Elliott was suspended for right-rearing Hamlin. I know Bubba Wallace was suspended for right-rearing Kyle Larson, but both of those incidents occurred, one, at high-speed tracks, but more importantly, they were direct retaliation. Austin Dillon was not retaliating against Denny Hamlin there. He was just desperately trying to snag a victory. I think that's the excuse NASCAR is going to use when they don't suspend Austin Dillon. That's just my guess. It would also be, I think, an awful look for NASCAR to suspend the race winner for the move that got him the race win. But then, not strip him of the victory, because I really don't think NASCAR is going to strip this victory from Austin Dillon. If they do, I will be floored. That would be probably the most shocking officiating call since maybe Jeff Gordon being added to the playoffs 11 years ago. I don't think they're going to do that. But a points penalty, a fine, I would not be shocked if that's the case. Once again, though, the question is not necessarily how NASCAR should handle this incident, but how should they officiate future incidents, maybe going into next year? Elton Sawyer said NASCAR has always been a contact sport. I don't think any of us really want that to change, but should we draw a harder line between what kind of contact is fair and what kind of contact is foul? And if we do draw a line, how easy will it be to officiate both sides of that line? That's a real question. I'm really bothered by all the revisionist history I've seen on social media the past 24 hours. Granted, I'm not the greatest NASCAR historian, but I know many other people who are. As I pointed out last night, Dale Earnhardt was not cheered when he wrecked Terry Labonte at Bristol in 1999. When he rattled Terry's cage, most of the fans at Bristol Motor Speedway booed. Last night, when Austin Dillon rattled Joey Logano's cage, it was Joey Logano who got the most boos when he was put up on the big screen. And another example people brought up was when Dale Earnhardt wrecked Darrell Waltrip at Richmond, ironically, in 1986. Alan Cavana, shout out to him, pointed this out. I Googled it to be sure, but Dale Earnhardt was fined, penalized for that incident. So this notion that, the good old days of NASCAR, anything goes, that's just not true. Fans held drivers to a higher standard, and even NASCAR themselves weren't afraid to at least occasionally penalize folks for over-aggressive driving. We've changed. The sport has changed. The fans seemingly have changed. If Austin Dillon did what he did last night in the 1980s, it wouldn't have flown. He would have been booed, and he likely would have been fined, if not worse. So this revisionist history that NASCAR has always just let any contact go is not necessarily the case. NASCAR has inconsistently applied penalties at times, but no, this has not always been an anything goes sport. Boys Have At It in the late 2000s, early 2010s really changed the culture of stock car racing. Even though Boys Have At It is sort of a thing of the past now, its effects have still lingered. I'm not a fan of judgment calls in racing. I'm not really a fan of judgment calls in every sport. I complain about the strike zone. I complain about bogus pass interference calls or blocking charge fouls in basketball. Judgment calls are a frustrating part of sports, but they are also in some cases a necessary part of sports. I'm not smart enough to know exactly how NASCAR should rewrite the rule, but I would like to see, going into 2025, a more firm line get drawn between what is and isn't acceptable. Going into next year, if someone turns left and hooks the leader into the wall and there's radio like this publicly available, I would like to see that driver penalized and the win potentially taken away. I don't think it would be fair to take this win away from Austin Dillon because there's no recent precedent, but write a new precedent going into next season. I get that NASCAR wants to be hands-off, but because of the format they've created, I don't think that's possible. That's how I feel after seeing last night's finish. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comment section below. No power rankings today, so much still to talk about after yesterday, but tomorrow my new power rankings will be up. Got more videos coming later this week. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more NASCAR content, commentary, interviews, race recaps, and so much more. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. I will see you all again very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. Thanks for watching.